Hi, everyone. Welcome. Before we begin, I'd like to ask all the graduates to please turn on your camera so we can see your smiling faces. And I'm sure everyone's sick of hearing this, but if everyone could just keep their mics muted. Welcome. My name is Chelsea Joffrey, and I work on the programs and operations team at NPower as the National Engagement Manager, specifically leading NPower Match, our network-wide e-mentoring program. I'd like to welcome you all to our national graduation and thank you all for being here to celebrate our fall 2020 Tech Fundamentals graduates. 2020 was a year that many might describe as a year worth forgetting. Instead, let's reflect on some of the more positive aspects we'd like to remember, like the ability to spend more time with family, being unencumbered by a long commute, or perhaps you started a new educational or professional pursuit. That's why we're all here, right? We're here celebrating graduates from across 7 NPower regions who, during an uncertain time in our history, took that leap of faith to pursue their dreams of working in tech. You are the optimists. You're learning and growing despite facing a landscape of stress. But you're the part of 2020 that we're celebrating. We're so proud of you. We're all here to celebrate your courage, your curiosity, and your perseverance. And on that note, we have a great program set for you all. During Women's History Month, nonetheless, we're showcasing NPower's dedication to promoting equity and increasing intersectional representation for women in technology. To kick off that celebration, I'd like to introduce to you a woman whose vision and leadership continues to propel NPower further, which allows us to serve more and more tech trainees each year. We're grateful for her dedication and inspiration to our team, and more importantly, to our students. Everyone, please join me in welcoming NPower CEO, Brittany Warden.
Chelsea, thank you so much for that warm introduction. And everybody, welcome. It is positively thrilling to see that we have 342 people joining us from all corners of the country. Welcome. Thank you for being with us. And most importantly, congratulations to our fall 2020 group of graduates. You made it. This is a class of 374 graduates. And yes, during this moment of Women's History Month, I want to salute the fully 1/3 of our class who are women. Trailblazers, all of you. It is quite an accomplishment to finish the NPower program, and I want to touch on that for a moment because it is no easy program by any stretch. Within the first 2 weeks of our students graduating the NPower program, fully 47% were already placed in jobs with amazing companies like Accenture and Bank of America, Citi, Corteva Agriscience, Johnson & Johnson, KPMG, Worldwide Technology, Under Armour, Broadridge, Guardian Life, Samba TV, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. It is tonight that we honor the work of our students for pursuing an exciting new and optimistic future for both themselves and their families. Like I said, this isn't an easy program to get through, but I'll tell you what, in this past year of confronting a global pandemic, of living through some significant economic hardship, and a reckoning that our country has faced of decades and generations of racial inequity, it has been more than a tough year. And if this was normally a challenging program, these graduates have really had their mettle tested in a crucible of incredible stress. And I just think this class in particular deserves an unusual abundance of congratulations on this evening. It really is quite an extraordinary accomplishment, and we celebrate that and you tonight. We at NPower, over this past year, have never stopped working. We have never stopped working on behalf of our students, and we will not stop working on behalf of our alumni. And yes, tonight the students who are graduating are officially alumni and officially eligible for all the ongoing services. And I would just say to each and every one of you tonight, please consider continuing to upskill your career, continue the habit of lifelong learning, take advantage of our cybersecurity training, of our cloud computing training, and many other offerings that we expect to deliver in the course of the coming months. That is the golden ticket that will help you continue to build your careers and continue to build your opportunities and salary earnings. Tonight is a night we celebrate your accomplishment. And I'm looking forward to the inspiring words of our speakers, our student speakers from Missouri and from Texas, the inspiring words of our keynote speaker, the CIO of Dropbox. And I'm looking forward to celebrating your success and staying in touch with so many of you over the course of the coming months and years to follow your journey that began here at NPower. This is something that we do as a collective. It's not just the staff here at NPower or even the hiring partners I just mentioned. And I think it's just worth a moment in time to acknowledge of the 355 people we have joining our call tonight. We've got some incredibly deeply committed volunteers from many of our supporters and partners that include the breadth of JP Morgan Chase and Bank of New York Mellon, Comcast, Con Edison, USAA, Bloomberg, Audible, Dell, Union Bank, Prudential, Fifth Third Bank out of Detroit, BJC Healthcare and Mercy out of St. Louis, RBC Capital Markets, and so many others. It is because of your commitment to this program and to the opportunities that you offer our graduates that we're able to do what we do. So thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And I'd like to be the first to offer a hearty round of congratulations and applause for our graduates. Now I'd like to turn the floor over to Wendell Covington, who is our fearless leader, the Executive Director of NPower Missouri, to introduce our next speaker. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Bertina. This is truly a remarkable and exciting day, and I'd like to give honor and respect to all of our distinguished leadership and staff, our community partners, our contributors, and invited guests. Like Bertina mentioned, my name is Wendell Covington, the Executive Director of the Missouri region, and I have the distinguished honor of introducing our next speaker, Ms. Gabrielle Mccaleb. Gabrielle is one of our standout trainees from the Missouri region. Gabrielle graduated from Hazelwood Central High School in Missouri in 2016. Like many young women, Gabrielle had her sights on attending a university to obtain a quality education with the hopes of landing a lucrative career in technology. So she attended Harris-Stowe State University in 2018 and also transferred to Webster University for the 2019-2020 academic year. It was through her lived experience in college that made her aware that she needed more support for the technology field. She felt underprepared, thus leading her to discover NPower. It was through NPower that she was motivated to genuinely learn and acquire skills needed for obtaining a gainful career in technology. It was through NPower where Gabrielle's confidence was built. She was guided and nurtured by the regional staff, both professionally and personally. This high level of support gave her reassurance that she was making the right decision in pursuing her CompTIA certification. Gabrielle desires to be at the top of her game by continuing her study with NPower, by enrolling in advanced coding courses with the aspiration of becoming a software developer. In her personal time, Gabrielle loves to read, paint, and like many other young people, she loves to collect shoes. So we are so elated to announce that Gabrielle has started her new tech career with Mercy as a service center technician. So without further ado, Ms. Gabrielle Mccaleb.
Thank you. You guys got to give me a second because I haven't breathed since this has started. But before NPower, I was lost in a lot of aspects. 2019 was one of the worst years for me mentally. And on top of my personal battles, I was in the middle of transferring to middle school, as you heard. Though this break was needed, I was really discouraged because I wasn't in school and I couldn't find a job at the time. And that was the first time I had been jobless since 2015. Fast forward to the end of my junior year, and it was my first year at Webster, I felt that I still wasn't getting a quality education. Somehow, some way, I was able to ace all of my classes without feeling like I learned much of anything. The one subject that I did feel confident in was computer programming, C++ to be exact, but I took a skills test on LinkedIn, and that's when I realized that I wasn't as proficient in the subject as I thought. And that was the last straw for me. So NPower gave me a sense of hope. I learned more within a few months attending this program than I did at a year at Webster. And I wasn't just learning new information. I also gained a better understanding for previously taught subjects. In addition to the hard skills that I've gained during this program, the professional development helped me with my soft skills also. Being taught what to expect in the workplace, paired with the experience and the wisdom from those in our industry, it was essential and greatly appreciated, even though I absolutely hated professional development days, as many others did, especially the ones with mock interviews and presentations. I did understand that my uncomfort was needed for growth. Now that the program is over, I'm ready to start taking the next steps towards my career. It took me what feels like forever, but I recently did get hired at Mercy for an IT role, and I started working this week. I'm extremely anxious about this new opportunity, but I know that's okay, and I'm confident that I'll do well. And this is all thanks to NPower, both staff and students. I want to thank Courtney and Saeed for drilling all of this new information into my brain, while also supporting me and making sure that I truly understand. I thank my classmates for all the help and reassurance after my mess ups, because I do that a lot. And Ms. Shaylin and Ms. Amanda for all of the support and experiences to prepare me for the workplace. And a huge thank you to Mr. Rob and Ms. D. They've showed me an enormous amount of support. They've listened to me cry and have dealt with all of my dramatics. They've pushed me to grow and have given me confidence, advice, and encouragement, and that will definitely stick with me forever. They weren't lying when they said that you gain a family through NPower. I love you all, and I can't wait to join another class. And to my classmates, I can't wait to see the bomb men and women that you're going to grow to be, because y'all are phenomenal in every aspect, and I know you'll continue to be great. Thank you.
You did very well, Gabrielle, very well. Good evening. My name is Brittany Warden, the Program Director for NPower Texas. I would like to introduce the Tech Fundamentals class speaker from Texas. This person spent 4 years in the United States Army. During her time in the Army, she was an award-winning photojournalist who took great pride in telling the Army's story. She received many decorations, including the Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, Army Good Conduct Medal, and the Non-Commissioned Officers Professional Development Ribbon, just to name a few. During these years of service and throughout her other professional experiences, she became more interested in the field of information technology, but she struggled to find a program that suited her needs and one that was affordable. She joined the NPower Texas Tech Fundamentals program, and in true form, she excelled. She earned the CompTIA A+ certification, the ITF certification, and also earned the Google IT Support certification. She is currently interning at Citi, and I have no doubt at all that she will continue to do great things. I am honored to introduce Cecile Cromartie.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for that amazing introduction. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to my fellow Tech Fundamentals Fall Class of 2020. My name is Cecile Cromartie, and I'm very proud to say we did it. In one of the most grueling and tumultuous years in recent history, we still succeeded. Despite a pandemic, economic trials, massive wildfires, worldwide social unrest, we made it. In one of the most uncertain and troubling times, when we were being surrounded with challenges on all sides, we dug deep and stepped up to the challenge to change our lives for the better. Yes, we most certainly did. Like so many of us, I came to NPower with a desire for something better, a better career, a better income, better hours, a better life, a better future. Before NPower, I served in the Army as a photojournalist for 4 years. Up until January, I served my community as a police officer. Throughout my life, I prided myself on helping and supporting others, so much so that I had become too proud to ask for help when I needed it most. While I wanted to pursue a career in IT, finding out just how to do that was my first obstacle. Not knowing exactly where to begin, what to study, who exactly to ask, or if it was even too late to pursue a career in IT. I just couldn't see a clear path. While I enjoyed serving my community, it wasn't being true to myself. I loved IT and utilized it in my investigations that led to hundreds of arrests, but still I felt as though I was only scratching the surface of a passion that was steadily growing. With a non-traditional work schedule and student loans, going back to school wasn't an option for me. So close to shelving my hopes for a career in IT, I found NPower by chance in a work email. Taking it at first as a phishing scam, I couldn't believe there was a program that would actually train me for free to pursue a career path that seemed like a long shot for someone like me with no technical background and no prior experience. But as we all came to know NPower, we came to know that it is real and it's truly a game changer. One of the things I have loved about NPower was getting to know my class and hearing how we all found NPower, how we plan to change our lives, how some of us were planning our next chapter, how others of us were starting over completely, how most of us were just plain finally excited to get started on our paths in tech. When we showed up to class every day, even though we were remote, we were together in our efforts to learn every single component of a motherboard, or remembering to tell each other to please do not throw sausage pizza away, or encouraging each other before going into a grueling exam. No matter how we supported each other, we showed up for each other because we recognized the gravity of showing up for ourselves. I dare say that any of us has taken our experience with NPower lightly. For someone like me, the decision to take a leap of faith to start a whole new career was made easier because of the faith NPower staff had in me. Our Texas Tech Fundamental instructors, Daniel Fry and Ruby Crowder, were so much more. They were our coaches, sometimes our confidants, and always our cheerleaders. NPower Texas staff, Brittany Warden, Marissa McKenzie, Clifton Bland, Scott Smith, Russell Medina, Darius Johnson, Connie Rios, Brittany Waits, and so many more were our guides, our counselors, and always our champions. As I sit here with you all, I am so grateful to be one day closer to a future I once felt was so impossible. I look back and remember how I felt so far away from my IT career. No training, no certs, no mentors, no network, not even a clear idea how to start. I remember right before I found NPower, I read a Shirley Chisholm quote. I printed out that quote and kept it on my bulletin board above my desk. The quote reads, "If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair." As a city intern, there isn't a day I'm not proud to represent NPower veterans and women like me who know what it means to struggle for better, for a seat at the table. In an industry that needs us, that needs diversity, veterans, we as NPower graduates have proven we are hungry, we are ready, and we are coming with our folding chairs. Thank you, good night, and congratulations.
What an incredible speech that was, Cecile. Gabby, you two did amazing. I could feel your excitement and passion and just how much you care for us here at NPower and everyone you've met and how valuable you see your experiences as well. So congratulations to both of you. Good evening, everyone. I am Aziza Benti, a social support manager representing NPower in St. Louis, Missouri. I am here to announce the winners of this year's Beacon of Hope Award. This award recognizes the graduates who exemplified positivity, collaboration, and grit. Committed to achieving their goals, these recipients of this award rallied, uplifted, and inspired their fellow classmates while facing personal challenges of their own. Serving as a beacon of hope in their respective classes, these honorees were identified by staff as having maintained a strong sense of optimism and great hope for their future, and encouraged those around them to do the same, even in the midst of a pandemic that at times seemed to be too overwhelming to bear. The following recipients from all NPower regions have acted as a beacon of hope to themselves and their fellow classmates. Please join us in celebrating them while watching this video of the winners. Thank you.
NPower graduates, NPower staff, family, friends, supporters, esteemed guests. It is my privilege to introduce our guest speaker. To be around her is to be inspired. She was recently named to the top 100 women in tech by Technology Magazine. Truly a tech pioneer. She has over 30 years of experience, and if you look at her bio, there's some pretty recognizable names like IBM, Apple, Oracle, Salesforce, Mozilla. She serves on multiple corporate philanthropic boards, including, and perhaps most importantly, NPower California's Regional Advisory Board. 4 years ago, she took a job at one of the newest top-ranked tech companies in the country. And from that time on, the company grew to over 600 million registered users across 180 countries. At the start of the pandemic, she pushed the limits of working remotely by selling her house and downsizing into an RV. So for the last year, from the open road and remote sites across the country, she's been leading and innovating and designing a more enlightened way of working collaboratively. Please join me in welcoming the Chief Information Officer of Dropbox, Sylvie Veilleux.
Thank you, Chris. You know, technical difficulties come with the job, right? So this is not the first one you'll deal with. On the road, I work off of MiFi, believe it or not. I don't have fiber, and I definitely don't have the typical internet. So it usually works fine. But I've had my moments today. I had to reboot everything and upgrade a bunch of stuff. Anyways, technology is technology. It's never perfect. So I want to say congratulations to NPower Fall Class of 2020. It's a momentous day for all of you. And I want to say welcome and good evening to all the graduates, their proud families and friends, and all the members of NPower who are here today. I am a proud member of the California Regional Advisory Board for NPower, and I deeply believe in the power of the organization. And I'm honored to celebrate with you today. And I'm so proud to be in this virtual room with you, technical difficulties along with them. As I looked into this group, I am so impressed with the incredible talent that I saw. Each of you have taken risks for yourself, for your family, and most of all for your dreams. I heard some pretty inspiring stories there. It brought tears to my eyes. Today, I'll share some takeaways. I've kind of categorized them in 5 that I think have helped me in my journey. And it's only when you look back that you can actually put these together. Didn't have this thoughtfulness as I went through my career, but I hope it provides some guidance for you as you go along your future in technology. And I like to start with saying, I am a risk taker. And this is the first takeaway. Take risks. You will grow so much faster. 10, 20 years from now, if you remember one thing from today, I want you to remember that the risks you will take will define your career. Society often views taking risk as something that's negative or even unwise. There's a lot of pressure to take the safe route, but I can assure you the risk you will take will drive your career to be a better one. I see risk as an opportunity to learn and to grow. And while there are occasional failures, more often there are successes. And for me, throughout my career, the risks and challenges I've taken head on have defined my experiences, and it has paid off in the most unexpected and exciting ways. They've opened up opportunities I never thought were possible, and each were a stepping stone to the next one. And when I look back, I know that risk-taking has helped my journey and helped define it. And it has opened so many new doors. And it's okay to fear a bit or even freak out. As one woman I find so inspiring said, she said, find where your ZOFO is. And what ZOFO is, zone of freaking out. And then she says, embrace it. Her name is Dia Bondi, and she's created this program called Ask Like an Auctioneer. Look her up, she's phenomenal. Now, know it's normal feeling, but go for it. Your future will thank you. If I go to my number two, the number two piece is to create your path. If it doesn't exist, no one will do it for you. And I've already heard stories today about people creating their own path. All of the challenges and the risk you'll face along the way, short term, one of your first will be to choose your next role or finding your next role. You're beginning to create your own path, which started by joining NPower and graduating as part of the fall 2020 class. Few have had a clear path laid out for them on what is next. And for those of you like me, needed to just figure it all out. My path includes being the first in my family to graduate from college. I had no mentors around me, heard some of that today, and I took a leap of faith. When my high school math teacher suggested I study in computer sciences, I had never even seen a computer in my life, and that was in 1982. I wanted to become a veterinarian. How far away was that? I moved from a small town to the big city, and I was alone. A bit scary, but I liked the adventure and independence that gave me, to be honest. But I graduated in a time where it didn't come with a job. Finding that job was a job of its own. I heard some of that today from some of the speakers. I delivered my resume by hand and feet across the city, blisters on my feet. There wasn't an internet and even no email back then, believe it or not. I can't believe I'm saying that, but that was the case. I was even obligated to take a couple months of welfare money to get by. I didn't have a job coming out of school, and it hurt, but it fueled me more to create my own path. I persevered with the vision and a path that I was building, and I landed my first job at a little company called IBM. Now, it wasn't all what I was hoping for, but it was part of my path, and it was part of me creating it. It had a bunch of twists and turns and side steps along the way. I think all that it matters is as you must keep moving in a forward direction. The third piece of takeaway or advice is to stand up for yourself. I heard some of that today too. And you'll be asked to compromise who you are and what you want. You know, tech has a reputation for being a boys' club, and that was no different when I was in the beginning of my journey all those years ago. And very few recognize that many of the first computing pioneers were those people who programmed the first digital computers were women. In the mid-'80s, I graduated with a cohort of 30% of women. And yet in early 2000s, shortly after I moved to California, Stanford published some research saying that that number had dropped to under 10%. I was flabbergasted. It's getting better now, but it took a lot for women to stand up for themselves. And you got to say, the words bias or inclusion and equity, that wasn't even in the vocabulary back in the workplace. I recall my first office holiday party. I was so excited to celebrate for the first time with my coworkers. And then I was asked to stay behind to answer the phone calls. I was the newest of the group and someone just needed to stay behind, they said. To be honest, I knew it wasn't because I was the newest, it's because I was the woman in the room. And to be very vulnerable with all of you here, I will share that I went to the restrooms and I cried really hard. I had puffed eyes, face, everything that went with it. But then I realized in that moment that I needed to take ownership of my place and stand up for myself, a little bit like bringing your chair to that table. I went back in, because the bathrooms were outside the office, and told management to find a temp receptionist. And they did. And I went to the party. So this is just one example of the ways that I stood up for myself over the years. It might seem scary and risky, but you have to believe in yourself and who you are. The fourth takeaway I would like you to have is to find your support system. It takes one to do your best work. Over the years, it became clear to me that I love to be challenged in the work I did. I was the kind of person that got really bored if I wasn't challenged, and I would find some more challenging things to do. I wouldn't stay with the status quo. That became an itch, and that itch kept going. And I've always said it's a strength of mine, but it's also been a curse throughout my career because I've worked extremely hard through all those challenges. But I had somebody to support me. And for me, that was my husband. And he quickly saw that in me. And he constantly reassured me that I had the fuel that I needed to take every challenge that came my way or I pulled in my way. He became my support system that I needed to pursue my career. And he helped me feed that itch. That I had that itch and I was excited about the risks I was taking many times in my career. Back in 1994, we sold everything. I used to be in Canada, and then we left and moved to Paris with an 18-month-old daughter and just our suitcases. We had a big house, everything, sold everything. I worked as a consultant for big oil and telecom. I left a secure job twice, once in 1994 and again in 2000. That itch to be challenged just was there. And I worked again as a consultant for Oracle this time and traveled for almost 5 years. Time and time again, my husband was my support system. In 2000, we sold everything and moved to California this time and did the startup thing. In hindsight, it wasn't a good year to do this in 2000 with the dot-com crash that happened. Both of us worked in the same company. Imagine that. Both lost our jobs, but we supported each other here too. And instead of just moving back to that secure government job or going back to Oracle and pick up what I was doing, I persevered here too. I had my support and I got to go work at Apple, Franklin Templeton Investments, Salesforce, Mozilla, and now Dropbox. Along the way, I created new support systems with industry peers and networks. And that got me to my first board of directors job. That is a huge job to get for women on a board. When you find your support system, it fuels you when you need it the most. And now I promise I'm getting to my fifth. And the fifth one is the most important one in my opinion. And it's about betting on yourself and getting really comfortable with being uncomfortable along the way. And what I mean by that, I'll jump into it a little bit more, is California is where my career bloomed, with risk-taking, paving my path, and having my support system. And I learned to be much more comfortable with being uncomfortable and trusting myself that I could do it. I went from being an individual contributor and a specialist to managing a team of 25 overnight. I stepped away from being the best in the area that I worked to leading the best. That was uncomfortable. I had a fear of losing my edge and managing people and an entire function for the very first time. But I did it, and I did it darn well. I was comfortable again. Then I shifted again. I shifted in technology domains, and went to an area with no experience in that field whatsoever. Yet, this time, I trusted I could lead a team and learn along the way. And I'd say I did that well too. I went from leading in legacy technology environments to the greatest leader of software as a service. I knew nothing about SaaS, yet I trusted I could do it, and I did. This led me to an opportunity to transform an entire company and its IT organization. I owned it all, including security and business applications, infrastructure, data, name it. It was the whole IT. It was new, uncomfortable, but I learned that I could become comfortable, and I trusted I could do it. This led me to being the very first CIO at Dropbox, pre-IPO. And this time, I also knew I could do it and do it well. And being comfortable created more excitement than ever. I still had some internalized freaking out moments, yet I knew to think through, plan well, and leverage my team and our collective experience. It doesn't stop here. And the journey ahead of me is one where I will offer my experience and expertise in a different way. And I will learn as I continue on my path and creating my path for myself as a member of a board of directors. And yet this time too, I know I can do it, and I do it well, even when it can be uncomfortable and new. So trust in yourself. When you do that, you will put the effort that's needed to be your best. That is the only you that you will be comfortable with. So in closing, I would say it has been a very incredible privilege to speak with you here today and to share my story. And I hope my journey will help you on yours as well. As you begin your journey in technology, you will be continuously learning. And that's that lifetime learning that Bertina was telling you. I'm sure when you look back 2, 5, 10 years from now, or how long it is, you'll be amazed of the impact through your hard work. With technology, you have the solution to so much at your fingertips. Technology is moving faster than it has ever had. And it's up to you and how you keep up with technology and how you apply technology for the better of this world. So if I sum it up, those 5 key takeaways: take risks, you'll grow faster. Create your path. If one doesn't exist, no one will do it for you. Stand up for yourself. You'll be asked to compromise who you are and what you do. Find your support system. It takes one to do your best work, and then bet on yourself and get comfortable with being uncomfortable along the way. So thank you again, and congratulations to the NPower Fall 2020 class. Thank you.
That was awesome, Sylvie. Thank you so very much. I was watching the chat and the takeaways that they were getting from your speech. So thank you so very much. Good evening, NPower IT Fundamentals graduating class of Fall 2020. It is my absolute pleasure to join in the massive Coast to Go celebration of your greatness today. My role for the next few minutes is simple and fun: to celebrate the awesome accomplishments and challenges that made us better, stronger, and more amazing than ever. But most of all, to encourage each of you to celebrate your process. You see, process is even more important than achieving any single goal. With healthy processes while navigating challenging experiences, our efforts will not be sustainable. And let's be honest, 2020 was the challenge of all challenges for most. But this past year also showed us the depth of support, compassion, and understanding we could reach. Celebrate not only this moment in time, but celebrate what we get to keep. What remains yours into the future beyond a certification, beyond an internship or a job. You will move forward into the future with the knowledge that you have cultivated something inside of yourself that is dynamic, resilient, and, as I like to say, dope. Staff, this is our chance to celebrate with them, to celebrate all our hard work to ready these individuals for the next phase in their life journey. It is our village that worked together to make each and every one of us more incredible than when we started. Now, in alignment with our 40 by 22 initiative to have more women in IT by the year 2020, I want to take a moment to acknowledge this month, Women's History Month. Our contribution to the global celebration is the second annual Women of Color in Tech Day. That begins tomorrow, March 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern. All are welcome and registration is required. You're going to find a link to that in the chat. You can also visit NPower.org for more information. So let's get on down to the part that I enjoy the most. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. I know what you came here for. You came here to hear your region, your family members' region, your friends' region celebrated loud and proud today. I want speaker mode to be taken off. I want us to be able to see all of one another as I begin to make this announcement, because we about to get wild in here, as we should. That's right. I have some of you on video and I can see you, and I can already tell that you with it. So let's do the thing. The 96 graduates representing the loudest.
Mr. Danielle.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's go, Detroit.
Neighbor, not to be outdone. Hey, the New Jersey represent Newark in Jersey City. Right, baby.
Can't be yelling.
Thank you.
Moving right along. That's right there. Moving right along. Everything is bigger in Texas.
Yeah.
Brad, well, it's Texas, y'all.
Woo, Texas.
Texas.
I left New Jersey for Texas.
Somebody muted me, but I'm back.
Hey,
Don't you
Texas.
worry. I'm back in the building. Always stepping up to be more awesome. It's the 48 graduates. Hailing from Maryland. All right, hold on. Followed up by the Motor City's finest, AKA Motown, and the 40 graduates representing Detroit, Michigan. But I'm not finished. Never to be underestimated. Coming up next is the Golden State and the 41 graduates representing California Love, direct from San Jose, California. Yeah!
Congratulations, graduates.
Hold on, I'm sweating in this sweater. Look, I'm about to come with it. Y'all not ready for this. I'm about to come with it. And last, but never least, it's my home state of Missouri. It's the Show Me State. It's the If You From Cohort 8. It's St. Louis in the house. Yes. Congratulations. Graduates of ITF in St. Louis, baby. That's right. That's how we do it. I see them smiles. This is how you celebrate accomplishments. This is how you pour into one another. It doesn't matter that we're in different cities. It doesn't matter that we're in different homes. We're all in one place, sharing this love together. I'm going to ask that you are all muted at this time. We're going to go ahead and mute everybody at this time besides me. I'm going to be the only one talking. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is my honor to present to you the NPower ITF Fundamentals graduating class of fall 2020. I am so excited for each and every one of you. Now tonight, as we close out this evening, I want to thank our speaker, Sylvie. I really appreciate the words of wisdom that you shared with our graduates. It was impactful. And I know that they are taking those takeaways and implanting them into their minds and brains and using that to help move them forward. I want to thank our Beacon Award recipients. We will be seeing that video at the end of this. Student speakers, amazing staff for putting on this great event. Our incredible NPower graduates this evening, and all your family and friends who have come to support. And of course, each of our giving donors who helped make all this possible. I want to leave you with these words. Graduates, let not your individual journey end here. Share what you have learned beyond the borders of your brain. Let your family, friends, and community benefit from what you have gained. Share with others who may need exactly what you experienced. What we do here is life-changing, without a doubt. And we cannot do it without our partners, our staff, you, and our community. So whether you are a graduate tonight, a community partner, or here to celebrate someone else, we need you. Share the gift of this awesomeness by visiting npower.org for more details on joining or supporting our village. Finally, remember to visit our Kudo board. There's going to be a link in the chat. There you can leave congratulation messages to our graduates. They would love to see that. I would love to see that. So please consider doing that this evening. And now for our final contribution, let's watch our Animoto video of all our graduates from each region, as well as the recipients of the Beacon of Hope Award. It has been my pleasure to serve this evening. You all have been an amazing audience. Your energy has warmed my heart in ways I cannot put into words. We thank you, you are appreciated, and you have a beautiful, beautiful night.
right. Thank you so much. That's a wrap. Thanks for sticking by us through the technical difficulties. Thanks to the speakers, the graduation planning team, and congratulations again to the graduates. You are alumni now, so stick with us. We are here for you. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Have a great night, everybody. And remember to lean into this celebration. You deserve it.